Okay. Hello, everyone. Welcome back. Today we have Abhinav Yadav from MIT Manipal. So Abhinav is a dear friend, and he completed his BTech in CS from MIT, and it's MIT Manipal. It's pretty tough to get into. And after that, he decided to do his MIM, that is Masters in Management. And right now he is studying in. He has started his studies in ESCP Europe. So Abhinav is here, to discuss everything, right from scratch, his strategy, his plans, everything, and the way he got into this MIM program. So over to you, Abhinav. Thank you so much for joining. The first question I have to start with is, like, why MIM? You did your CS. I mean, that's a bit huge shift. So, like, the first question is, why MIM?
Okay. First of all, I'm glad that we could connect, and with this video, a lot of people would be able to, gain good amount of help if they are willing to opt for MIM. So I'll just give you a brief idea about what exactly MIM is, and then I'll come back to the question like why I chose it for myself. So MIM stands for Masters in Management. It's an entry-level managerial program, and it's for anybody who wants to shift their or probably somebody who's done their bachelor's in engineering, law, medical, any field of education, and they want to digress to a managerial program. So it's perfectly for them. And even if you have a work experience of 1 or 2 years, or if you have no work experience, it works both the ways. So if you're looking for a managerial program, and especially if you want to strike foreign countries and foreign universities, you will not get into an MBA program direct over there, because there they would require a minimum of 4 to 5 years of work experience. That's called like an executive MBA over there. But if you don't have that much amount of time, and you like straightforwardly you want to get into a managerial program, MIM, I believe, should be the right option for you. Now, what happened with me was definitely like pursuing a master's in management was part of the plan, like the future plan that I had for myself. But I'll just take you like 2 years down the lane. What happened with me was I suffered a very long-term injury in my 3rd semester of college. So because of that, I was completely like on a semester-long break. So what happened was when the placement things and everything started in the final year, like the semester, 7th semester, even though I had the minimum GPA criteria that companies used to set, but I was still lagging behind because I did not complete few of my subjects, which were from the 3rd semester, and I had to put them in my 8th semester. So because of that, what happened was a lot of contemplation, a lot of debate happened with me, my parents, between the placement team and everybody. But eventually, it's the company's call, and we all know that how difficult it is to mend their laws and policies. So cutting the long story short, what happened was even though having a good academic background, good GPA, everything, it didn't work out, and I was not able to sit for placements and get a job. So eventually, that was my initial plan. Like after graduating, get into a my domain of job, probably work for 1 or 2 years, and then that just like any other person does, gain 1 or 2 years of work experience, and then pursue a master's, whether in you want to continue into an engineering domain, or you want to shift to a managerial domain.
Agreed.
So now after I received my degree, I was all not received my degree, but after I completed my graduation bachelor's in May, I was in two thoughts now, like a dilemma where I had to either start applying offline to get jobs, or rather I should just start applying for exams and go for my master's program. But later I eventually thought that if I have to in the end come back to management and pursue a future over there itself, then why am I letting 2 years again being invested in something that I would not have to work for or have any hope in my future. So then I decided that it was the right time probably to digress from engineering to management, and MIM, I think so, was the best option available. So there the journey for MIM started.
Perfectly explained. So taking a journey forward, I mean, like, how was your preparation? Like, when did you start, and the kind of exams that you gave, and any tips or tricks you could give, which could help other fellow students, to do better in those exams.
Sure. So if I talk about my application timeline, I started this month itself, last year in August.
Okay.
So it's approximately a year-long process of getting your application done and sending out your final application to any college for any master's program, not specifically for MIM, but for any other master's program. So the first thing is I give like you need to have 2 exam scores for your application. First is either GMAT or GRE, and the second is an English proficiency test. It can be TOEFL or IELTS. Now I started. So talking for MIM, we are fortunate enough that the colleges, they have an optional criteria that you can give them a GMAT score or a GRE score. So it's totally up to you what you want to sit for and what you want to prepare for. So if I tell you like a simple trip, it's easier to sit for GRE. It's comparatively easier to prepare for GRE than GMAT, because that would require like good amount of time. GRE can be done like in 2 months, 3 months. But I set a target for me, like I just prepared for a month and gave my GRE, because GRE is not only like one of the application component that is gonna enable your acceptance or rejection. Just one part of the application. So you just need to have a good score. You don't have to do very exceptionally great that it just strikes out from others and you are given an admission just based on your GRE score. So you just aim for a good score, like probably 310 plus, 315 plus, and you're good to go. So I set myself a target of 1 month. I prepared the whole month of August last year. Gave my GRE, got a pretty well score, 316. Not very good, but well enough to get me an acceptance from like top 3-5 colleges.
Exactly.
But anywhere above 310 could be considered a very good score for for your application for a MIM college. Now, after getting my GRE score, I started preparing for the English proficiency test. Now, again, here there is an option where you can pursue, either TOEFL or IELTS. Again, telling you the simpler route, IELTS is easier than TOEFL. So I chose IELTS, and literally I had to just spend like 1 or 2 days in preparing, because the exam is an English proficiency test. If you talk in English, converse in English, write in English, it's not going to be anything difficult for you. So you just need to know the format of the exam, and probably 1 week max would go into preparing it, and you just need to appear for the exam. Again, got like 8.5 bands out of 9, which is like a very good score. But yeah, if you get like 7 bands in all the 4 sections, there are 4 sections in IELTS. So you will be eligible. This is just an eligibility criteria, acts like an eligibility criteria. So just need to get that 7 bands in all the 4 sections and you're good to go. So just these 2 exams for MIM, and rest there are other components of the application which I'm sure we will discuss next.
Okay, so like taking it forward, after you give your exams, you have your SOP, LOR and stuff. So of course, I mean, different colleges have different criteria. Some require 2 SOPs, some have require 3 SOPs. And if you have work experience, they require, LOR from your work experience people as well. So talking about that, what was your strategy regarding that? How did you draft your SOP? And, what are the key things that should be present in it, for an application such as MIM? Because, different application, different programs need to have something different, in the SOPs. So like, what was the X factor which was there, which, kind of strengthened your SOP as such?
Sure. So if I tell you about all the components that make up your application, basically there are 5 of them in general, like which are compulsory for all the colleges. And then different colleges would ask you for several other things. That depends from college to college. So 5 major things would definitely include your GRE score, as I told you. Secondly, a 1-page CV highlighting about all your achievements, your academic background and performance. Thirdly, your English proficiency score. Fourth, 2 letters of recommendation. Now here comes the deal where if you don't have work experience, you can get both the letter of recommendation from your academic professors, like from your bachelor days. If you have work experience, you can get one from your, like 1 professional LOR and 1 academic LOR. So that's how colleges ask you for. And 5th is basically the essays that the colleges have. Now essays can be, short essays, long essays, depending on the colleges that you apply for. And apart from these 5 components, now other colleges, like several other colleges, will ask you for motivation letter, cover letter. It depends which college you're applying for. So now talking strictly about LOR, one tip that I would like to give everybody is like, see, this is, there's no denying the fact that we write our own recommendation letters. We get it, proofread by our professors, and if they agree, they just put their sign.
Agreed.
So that's how things go. Because if you just ask the professor to write it for you, they would just write like 10 lines, 12 lines, and that's not going to work for your application in the college. So we write the recommendation letters on our own. But once you start writing LORs, I would highly recommend that you need to mention what all things that you've done with the professor. Like it doesn't have to be like, he's a leader and he has participated in extracurriculars like that. It doesn't have to be very general. If you're putting forward a point like a leader, then support it with an example. Like leader, then why a leader? Maybe you would have led any team for any competition, or probably a team in cultural fairs, technical fairs. So if you put forward a point, you need to justify it with a suitable, example, and put as much statistics as you can. So if, for example, you've done a project with the professor that you're taking an exam from, so you need to talk about the project and where did the project end to, how, like, what was the result, accuracy, and everything. So statistics play a very good role. So that way, that's another tip. And the rest, I believe, just jot down your LORs into paragraphs. Like it doesn't have to be, but again, saying some colleges have their fixed formats, like for LORs. They need it in a particular format. You need to see that whether your college has a format criteria or not. But if they don't have a format criteria, you just divide it into 3 to 4 paragraphs, and obviously write in, use good words, and it's all obviously better to get it proofread by as many people as you can, so that they can read it, suggest you where you can improve. So connect with as many seniors as you can, and get them so that it's edited after everybody, and what you send them is good LOR.
Okay, perfect. So taking it forward, now comes the challenging part, for most of the candidates is, the selection of colleges or universities, how do you know that a particular university is a right fit for you? And how do you determine, that the chances, based on your profile? Of course, you ask your seniors, you ask other people, but what is the strategy that you use while selecting your university?
Okay, so one thing that helps is a lot of online research. You need to take each college one by one and see, read forums and read online articles. Like there are a number of consultancies out there, so you can they have a kind of comparative meter. I don't know what they say to that thing, but they basically analyze your strengths and weaknesses and suggest you if you stand a chance into one particular college or not, based on your achieve your GPAs and all that. So you can you get a vague idea from that also. But if I tell you how to prepare your application and select colleges, basically the idea that I used was I aimed for 6 colleges, minimum 6 colleges, because you need to have certain a big bandwidth so that you get an acceptance at least from somewhere. Because if you apply 1 or 2 colleges, you don't know if they'll give you an acceptance or not. And colleges take a lot of time to get back to you once they receive an application. So it's kind of difficult to keep waiting for 1 or 2 colleges, and later if they give you a reject, you don't have enough time to apply for other colleges.
Agreed.
Because you waited and spent 3-4 months into waiting for them, and later you get a reject from them, and now you don't have time to apply for other colleges. So it's better prepare your application first and jot down the colleges and apply to all the 6 colleges together, so that the whole process happens simultaneously everywhere. Now, how do you choose colleges? The trick that mostly everybody uses is jot down colleges into 3 criteria. So there has to be a dream criteria, then a moderate criteria, and then a safe criteria. So definitely dream criteria is going to be those two colleges where you might just, have your luck and, it's totally above your candidature and totally above your, kind of profile. But you might just apply because you never know what things a particular college likes in your profile, in your application, and they might just give you an acceptance. So these are just, hit and trial basis. If they agree, well and good. If they don't, you don't have to be like discouraged from that. Yeah. So select 2 colleges from there. So I would recommend take 2 colleges from like top 5, top 6, top 7, whatever which you think are good for you.
Okay. So
now the next colleges. Yeah.
No, please go on.
Okay. So the next 2 colleges have to be the moderate ones where you stand a 50-50 chance where either it can be a yes or no, depending on the colleges, because sometimes you have a great profile, but some things don't align with the college's expectations and it doesn't work out. Agreed. So it has to pass or fail kind of thing. So 2 colleges in that criteria and 2 colleges into the safe criteria where that these colleges are for sure gonna get back to you and give you an acceptance. So if none of the other colleges from the first 2 criteria work, you have these 2 colleges at least in your hand. So that's how I applied, and I eventually end up getting admits from all the 3 categories that I listed, which I made for myself. So eventually it worked out for me, but I also got this learning lesson that you need to apply for all the colleges together, because what happened was I applied to colleges in France a little ahead, and the UK colleges that I applied, like Imperial, London Business, all those good colleges, I just took like a month of time to apply for their application, and later what happened was I got admits from France and I still had not received any response from the UK colleges. So obviously there again the dilemma comes whether you should wait and accept their offer or probably let them let the offer go and wait. That's a very tricky choice over there. So it's better to apply together.
Okay, perfectly explained. Just one thing, there's one thing which comes after applications is the interview process, I believe, this is another round, right? After you get selected, you get a call from them and there's an interview which is set up. So if you could just tell us, like how that experience is, and the kind of questions they asked or the parameters on the basis of which they judge you.
Okay. So just like any other interview, like we have it for our engineering purposes, like any placement company or anything as such, it's not going to be a technical interview over here. And it's not going to even ask you anything related to business also, because you've not studied that domain yet. So it's going to be very casual interview where they are more interested to know more about you. What are your views on particular topics? And they're just basically checking your personality, how well you can present your views, forward your arguments, and that way. So I'll tell you, for my case, I applied through this body called Join a School in France. Okay. So for that, we have one common application, but it is linked with 5 good colleges in France. Okay. So that way you save a lot of money also, because if you need to apply 5 different colleges, they would require good amount of application fees each of them. And if you have a criteria where you can apply like with a single application to 5 good colleges, why not? You might just take this.
Agreed.
So I through Join a School in France, you have ESCP, EMLIAN, Schema, HEC, and Audencia. So HEC and ESCP are the 2 colleges that I was aiming for. So and the rest of the colleges fell into the safer criteria. So I decided to go for this option. Now for them, they have an interview in almost 3 to 4 cities all over India. If I talk about India, rest everybody it would vary. So generally you book a slot with them. They will give you a slot, date and time. You go there, and it's a very simple interview. There would be at least 2 to 3 people. One people would definitely be from the college side, maybe somebody from France, a student, or probably a professor or anybody. But one people from the college, one representative would definitely be there, and the other 2 people from the Join a School in France body, or some other people. But there will be a panel of at least 2 to 3 people.
Okay.
So they would just gonna they are just gonna check your personality and how well you present your views, and it's gonna be very normal, just the way we are talking right now. It's gonna be simply like that.
Okay.
They are gonna be very casual in their approach. It's not very formal, but definitely it's, you know, I would recommend, if you're applying for colleges in France, you know, learn a little bit of French, and you know, have a introduction in French ready, because that's gonna strike you out from the rest of the buddy, because they would definitely ask you, if you're coming to France, what about French, and what about you know, how well are you versed in the language? So you can definitely tell them the truth that you're just a beginner in the language, if you are totally a beginner. But if you have a short introduction ready in French, they would definitely be impressed, because that's what I used for my interview, and it really impressed them. The representative from the college was highly impressed, and he even complimented about the accent and everything. So just try to know about the colleges that you're going to. It's also important to research about the colleges that you're going to interview for, because they will definitely ask you questions about why this college, and what made you to choose this college, and you know, what made you to place this college over the other colleges. To know why are you applying for this college, and also learn a little, like study a little bit like general knowledge about what's happening in that country currently, and yeah, some general issues. That's it.
Perfectly. Great tip, man, over there. The one question I meant to ask you earlier was, you know, for those who don't know, so this MIM program has its counterpart in US, which is called the Masters in Engineering Management, or MEM as they say. So, you know, Abhinav, what made you choose Europe? You know, because a lot of us over here, you know, everyone wants to live the American dream, you know, US is the place to go. So like, how different are the job opportunities or the curriculum, you know, compared to US? I mean, what's the difference between them? And like, what personally made you choose Europe?
Okay, so I'll just talk about my case. I don't know what others think, but what happens in my case is I want to go pursue my MIM and like work for 1 or 2 years, and I want to come back to my own city, my own country, and I have my family establishments over here, so I have to eventually take that forward. So there's no scene of settling down outside and, you know, gain a you know, a full-time employment over there and work. That's not the case with me. So and if I talk why not US, why Europe, MIM is a course which originated from Europe itself. So that's why the top 10 colleges or the top 15 to 16 colleges that you have in QS rankings or Financial Times ranking, they are from Europe only, because that's where the course stemmed from. And if I talk why not MEM, I was not very sure how, you know, because recently of this whole visa issues with the US and everything happened. If I eventually have to foray into management only, then I would rather, you know, place my bet on a safer option, which was MIM in Europe. I was short over there that I would get a visa, go there, study, and come back over here. Here, there are a lot of visa rejections. You know, people like attempt like 3 times, 4 times, and then they go through it. And obviously, if I talk about expenses also, it's a little higher in US compared to Europe, because in US they are just 1-year course or 2-year course, and here the amount that you're going to pay for 2-year course is approximately equal to what you spend for a 1-year course in US. So I'm just talking about the tuition fees, but all your you know,
standard of living and everything.
Yeah. Barring all that, I'm just talking about tuition fees. So yeah, expense is also one of the options, and yeah, that's why I chose MIM.
Okay, so perfect. So one last question for you is, you know, the situation we are in, you know, everybody is in, the COVID situation, you know, like how it has impacted, you know, personally, the way you're studying right now with the college, and what effect do you think will have, you know, on the job market in the long term? And just one last follow-up question is, you know, what are your future plans, you know, after MIM degree, you know, which career goal you want to, you know, move towards? So if you could just, you know, explain a bit of it.
Okay, so undoubtedly, this was something unprecedented. We didn't see this coming, and eventually, we can't like wait to let this end, because we don't see when it is ending. So now what everybody is doing, like they're adapting to in this situation and moving forward. So right now, what's the case with my college, and I can talk about other colleges also, that now good colleges from, in fact in India also people have started this curriculum of online track for an entire semester. So similarly for my college and other colleges also for MIM, they have an option for an online track. So if you're somebody from a country where international borders are still closed, or where you still don't feel safe to go out of the country and go through your masters, you can start with your semester in an online track. For my college, I currently have my prerequisite courses already going. So I have classes of 11 subjects continuing for it started on 26th of July. So this has already started for me. And again, in September, we have an option to choose an online track. Or if you are somebody who want to, there are people who want to, make use of all the resources, and they prefer to, study on campus, because obviously virtual learning is not definitely in any which ways comparable to what you will learn in a class.
Especially for a management program.
Yeah. So that way is that option is also available. Both the options are available. It's totally up to you what you want to choose. And if I talk about the other part of your question, what's my future goal and what am I aiming for? As I told you, I want to go there, study, and probably my college, ESCP, has a mandatory requirement of 1 year of industrial exposure that has to be done before I get my degree in my hand. So 1 year of internship experience that will be there for me. And apart from that, I would also want, if I get a good opportunity to work there and again learn something, I would invest another 1 year over there just to learn, gain, Also, it's very important when you go outside to pursue your master's, return on investment is also very important, because you're spending a lot. So you're spending a lot, you would want to, work there, gain a lot of money, so that your whole expenditure is balanced out. And then later, obviously, if you want to like continue whether you can. But I want to come back because I have my own family establishment over here. And now that my parents are also, aging and they are alone over here, I definitely want to like come back and, help them and take the establishment that we have, or we already have, to, greater heights. So that's the plan. So probably if I have to, choose between different genres, because management contains a lot of different fields, like, you have finance, like investment banking, then you have marketing. You have entrepreneurship, and
operations
operations and all. So I would personally choose for entrepreneurship, because eventually I have to come and start something of my own. So that would align with my future goal. So yeah.
Perfect. Thank you so much for sharing your entire journey from start till the end. I'm pretty sure it was helpful for all the people watching, especially from our college, and we hope that a lot of people go take your advice and go get into good colleges. So thank you, Abhinav. Thank you so much for joining us today. It was a blessing to have you.